Hi everybody, it's Andrea Mercy, aka Anlom, and welcome to my studio. Today is going to be a little bit of show and tell first, and then I'm going to do a piece of art. So the first thing I wanted to show you was, I showed this piece a little while ago in a flip through. It's actually, let me zoom out a bit. There we go. It's a fairly large piece that I did in college where I had to make the stamp, and it's the Stephen King's Black Tower in the background. And I really liked it, and I tried to sell it at my vendor sale this weekend, and it didn't go very well. But I had thought that it might sell, just because I figured there'd be some Stephen King / Dark Tower. Anyways, I went and had some prints made. So there we go. They're just a tad smaller than the original. I had two made. One for me so that I could frame it, because this one, the original is way too big for my wall. And then the second, so this one is for me to frame, and I had a second one done because I'm part of a Stephen King online group. So I just wanted to show that off. A little bit proud of that. I know I can't sell them because this is Mr. King's verbiage, and I don't have the rights to do that. However, I didn't think he would mind if this is the frame that I bought. So the poster I had made was exactly 11 by 17, and this is an 11 by 17 frame. So that's going to go on my wall. So I went to Michael's to get that frame. Actually, I went to Michael's to get yarn for my niece because she wants an infinity scarf for Christmas. So I decided I would go and buy some good yarn. I forgot how much yarn was, but when I was there, I picked up this, which is Recollection scrapbook paper, watercolor cherry blossom, 12 by 12. This is going to be used in my art today. I'm going to make 2 canvases, matching canvases, for my new friend Rachel, who I just met on Saturday at the art / vendor sale. She makes homemade pierogies, and I fell in love with Rachel. So I'm going to make her a piece of art for her bathroom, and she told me it was in mint and dusty rose. So I took out these paints here, which I'm hoping to put together to make a mint, and these ones to put together to a dusty rose since I don't have them. And I'm going to do an abstract piece for her bathroom. And then, of course, I was at Michael's, and they had a sale on the vintage stuff, so all the stuff that had gold in it. So I got myself some washi tape. And I finally picked up some iridescent medium. I believe in an earlier video I had mentioned that it was one of the few mediums I didn't have, and I really wanted it to try it. Got my iridescent medium and some glitter glue because I don't have white. So we are going to do the pieces for Rachel today. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to pause the camera, get myself set up. I'm going to pre-gesso the 2 canvases and dry them. There's no reason for you to see that. And then we'll get started. I'll see you soon. So I lied. I am not going to gesso these, and the reason why I'm not going to gesso them is 1, because they do have a layer on it already, and 2, I'm going to adhere some of this paper to both of them first before I put some paint down. So I figured, what's the point? So I have my trusty Mod Podge. These are 2 8-inch by 10-inch Artist Loft value pack. I probably paid $5 for both of them. Maybe. I probably got them. There was a Christmas sale 2 years ago. I had a $100 gift card for Christmas from my my dad and my stepmom, and I had another one from my sister, I think for $30 or $40. And I went in on Boxing Day, and they were having like a buy 3 for 1 pack. So I bought a whole bunch of canvases and like tons and tons of canvases. And I think I had some of these that came, like if you bought one, you got 4. It was a ridiculously, there's no way I paid $5 for these. Like there's no way. I may have paid $1 a piece in the end for them. And then even then I wouldn't have paid for them because I spent $100 of my own money that day. And I remember I posted it on my Facebook. I think I got $371 worth of stuff for $100. It was insane. All right, so most of this is going to be fast forwarded. My friend Rachel says that her bathroom is mint and dusty rose. So I'm going to, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So most of this video is going to be fast forwarded as an art along to keep it short. Haha, I have no such thing as a short video. And just because it's an art along and I'm not teaching any techniques, but if there's something in this video that you see that you think is really cool or really neat, put comment down in the dibbly-doo and we'll do a technique follow-up video later. Okay, a little bit of an interlude. So I'm going for mint and dusty rose, and I don't have any color that's close to mint or dusty rose. This is a little bit too blue, and this is a little bit too pink to be mint and dusty rose, and none of the paints that I had were real mint or real dusty rose. So I'm going to mix these 3 paints to try and come up with a mint, which I believe is kind of like that color. Well, that's still a little bit blue. Yeah, I'm going to try. And then these 3 to do the dusty rose. So these are all Legacy 1837 paints. I've got about 800 bottles of them. So I'm going to try and mix Rose Dawn, Peony Pink, and Damsel Rose to create a dusty rose, which kind of to me is like a vintage antique rose. And then these 3 is antique green, Irish green, and spring green to kind of get that minty green. That's what I'm going for. So I'm going to mix some paint on my palette. I'll fast forward through that too because I have a feeling it's going to take a while until I find what I really like. I was getting really frustrated with my color mixing because I wasn't getting anything even close. And I turned off the camera to go search for other paints and I forgot to turn it back on. So I added the turquoise green and some white, and I ended up with this color here, which for me is pretty close to a mint green. So now we're going to do this with a dusty rose. So I'm actually looking up what dusty rose looks like so that I can have it in the background while I mix these ones. And to be honest with you, these ones are much closer. See, that's just a little bit orangey. I don't think the dusty rose is going to be a problem. So yeah, I just needed to add some turquoise to that to get that green color I wanted. So let's go with that, which is really close, except I don't think it's dark enough for a dusty rose. I think those two together are going to be perfect. Let me put that on my paper. Yeah, those two are perfect. Okay, so I'm going to slap on a little bit of paint now. Okay, so that green paint has dried, and now I'm going to actually remix the pink that I put in the background, and I'm going to bring it up to the top and sponge some more of that over it, trying not to completely obliterate the roses, but the objective will be to add some pink back over the green, and then I'm going to add a darker shade of pink and possibly some white, and then I'm going to do some graphic mark making. So again, I'll fast forward through most of this. So I've just squirted some water on there. I'm just going to let it soak for just a second, and I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to see if I can lift a little bit. Not that there's anything wrong with what's there. I just want to see if I can just make some interesting texture. That was kind of cool. All right, so I've decided I'm going to paint the edges that darker color, the rose dawn. So I'm going to do that next and fast forward, and then dry it, and then we're going to add some white splotches to this. Okay, so I got a little bit overzealous, and as you saw, I did one layer of the darker rose, and then I turned the camera off so that I could go around a second time, because I figured even in fast forward that's really boring. And then I went all the way around I forgot to turn the camera back on again. I suck. And then I went kind of around the edge, so it kind of gave it a distressed edge at the top, so it wasn't a nice clean line. And then I did some splattering with the same dark. I got ink on my monitor. Not ink. I've got the dark rose paint all over my monitor from my splashing. Oh Lord. So you didn't get to see that, but it's okay. So this needs to dry. And then I need to add some white to this. So I'm not going to fast forward a dry, because again, that's just really boring. So I'm going to stop the camera. This time I promise to remember to turn it back on. And then we'll add some white, and then we're going to add a little bit of green back to this. And then actually green. Wait a minute. While you're saying green, Andrea, how about we do a little bit of green splotching since there's still a little bit of green paint over here. Let's just do a little bit. I'm going to actually add some more white to that green and make it a little bit lighter. So we'll add some water to that and make it a little bit splotchy so that we can do a little bit of more water. A little bit water. There we go. Make it nice and thin like ink. And then, oh, okay, you don't want that. You don't want that. Where's my baby wipe? Oh. Well, there you go. Texture. 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 Okay. What valuable lessons have you learned, Andrea? Oh, I have no idea what valuable lessons I've learned. All right, just a little bit of that. And I've decided I'm going to put in some white, and then I'm going to put in some black, because I think this needs a little bit of black, and a bit of gold. Definitely a bit of gold. I think that will just give it a little bit of oomph. So now, oh my god, I've got green all over my monitor. My husband's gonna kill me. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry and then we'll come back and do the next part. All right, we are back. This is dry. I'm gonna have to go around with another layer of dark after, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm just scraping up some of the, just before I turn the camera off, or sorry, just after I turned the camera off, I sprayed the paint that was left on my palette with a little bit of water just to keep it moist, because 2 hours has passed. So I've got my punchinella. I'm just going to do a little bit of punchinella across here with a light green. Very light touch, very light green. Very light touch, very light green. Just give it some texture. Ha! Like that. And like that. And oh, maybe right here. There, that's kind of cool. Okay, I like that. Let's put that in water. Always put your sponges back into water, or you could run into a problem with they harden and then you end up having to cut pieces off, and those sea sponges, the real sponges, they're really expensive. Not mine, because I picked them up at a yard sale, but if you go out to buy them, they can be very expensive. Okay, so I wanted to add the lightest smidge of lighter pink, or not pink, dusty rose. So I wanted to take the one that was the lighter of the two and just super duper, let's get the green out of there. Let me just rinse this for a second. So again, damp, no water left in it, well squeezed. Just the, actually I'm going to dry the punchinella green first. Drying, begun. the light rose. Just a little tiny bit here and there. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of something, something. Just to brighten it up just a tad. Oh, I might have, well, I'll be painting over that, that's okay. All right. That's gonna put that in clean water. Okay. Now, I know that I want to put white on this, and I know that I want to put gold on this, and I know that I want to put some black on this. But I might want to put a stamp on this, or go and recreate kind of scratchy outlines of some of those flowers. So I'm going to pause this and pull out everything that I need to do that, and then we'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to be using this to protect my monitor while I do some spraying. And I'm going to do some spraying in a second. The first thing I want to do is I don't know if you can see this, but when I was stamping the green through the punchinella, some of the white mixed in with it, and it looks super cool. So I'm going to take my punchinella and I'm just going to add a few more really super duper light spots of white in a couple of other spots here. So I've laid out a little bit of titanium white and I sprayed it with water just to thin it a little bit. And I'm just going to lightly apply a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Okay. Now, I'm going to do some spraying. I also pulled out my gold marker, which I love this marker. This is called a Permapaque Fine Point Gold Sakura marker. 1.0 mil. Love it. My Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. This is the B for brush. And 2 white pens. I have never, ever been successful with these white pens. Although out of the 2 of these, this is the Ranger one and this is the Uniball Signo, I've had more luck with this. But we'll see what happens. I wanted to do a little bit of scratchy stuff. But first I want to get down some spray. So this is my homemade gold spray. Go there if you want to see how I made that. And we'll see what happens here. Please, 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 please work. My fear is always that I overspray. So where's my handy dandy baby wipe? Okay. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. So then I just go, just very carefully dab anywhere where I think it might be too much. And then, ooh, that's definitely too much. So I just there we go, that's good. Okay, a little bit there, a little bit of shimmer. There we go, that's good. There we go, that's good. All right, gold is done. Now, black is a problem. It needs black. But what I'm thinking of is what it really needs is some of this black to be reapplied here. Maybe some of the things to be re-outlined. So let's hold off on the black. Where's my white spray? Here it is. So I just want to get a little bit of white. Let's protect my monitor. Oh, ooh, that's good. This finally. Oh yeah, now I have a whole bunch of white mist on my mouse. My husband is gonna. I accidentally turned my video off when I was cleaning my mouse. All right. I have white spray literally everywhere now. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna dry this and then see what happens. It definitely needs some black. So I'm going to put out a little bit of Mars Black, some good Grumbacher paint, and I'm going to take a hair product lid and I'm going to make some very small, thin black circles. Wish me luck. I want to see if I can make some nice little gold flowers with this, with my marker, or if am I going to have to get out my gold paint. Yeah. It's always harder to do this because canvas doesn't have support underneath. Let's see if I put some napkins under there. It might give me enough. That's the only thing I don't like about canvas is it's hard to stamp on a canvas unless you have support underneath. So I'm just gonna forget about it. Yeah, I lost the black in that. So nope, don't like that. Don't like that. Oh yes, and this is what happens, Andrea, when you don't put the coatings in between. You rub the paint off because I did not put a protective coating like I've done in my other videos in between. All right, this can be corrected. First of all, it's just texture. We just go over it and we pretend it was never there. Flip it over, add some green. I think I saved it. I am not super good with that whole scribbly scratchy stuff. It's definitely not my forte. Let me just put out some of this darker one here. And I learned in my Think Pink art project that I should not do that kind of stuff unless I put a protective coat down in between and so I can wipe it off. There you go. So this is lessons learned for everybody. Okay. All right, I'm going to do some white sponging. Since I'm sponging, I might as well do some white sponging. Just a little bit of sparkle. Because that white spray, when it dried, left nothing left. Its opaqueness was definitely shot. Okay, white. If anyone want, so the reason why I sponge off on my hand is because sometimes when you put the sponge into the paint, you can pick up too much and then you get this big blob. So I tend to sponge off a little bit on my hand. Just to make sure I have the right amount. That's it. All right, I'm going to have to do some gold sponging too. The gold spray wasn't enough, and I can't control it enough. So let me get out my gold paint. I have several paints. I have good gold paint, and I got cheap gold paint. And we're going to use that cheap gold paint. Sorry, Liquitex, but you definitely have affordable products. Because the expensive gold paint would be something like the Golden's Fluid Medium or something. I actually have real gold leafing in a paint. So again, I just try to do it in different spots so that I don't mix. You can also sponge off on something, but I don't have enough room here to have all. And of course, the first thing I did was over sponge. Now I'm just going over where these black circles were, because that will definitely push them back just a tad into the background. And I'm going to do just a little bit there over my boo-boos, because that will help blend it a little bit. All right, Andrea, step away, step away, step away, step away, step away. Okay, stepping away. Shove that in water. Where's one of my rags? Wipe my hands. Okay, so I didn't get to keep as much of the flowers as I originally wanted, but I'm not going to be doing... Stamping isn't really my thing. I have to be honest with you. Stamping and stenciling are all very, very new to me. Let me just see if I can fix that, because that's bothering me. That overabundance of gold there. Let's see if I can push just a tad of it back. There we go. That's better. Okay. I don't know what else to do next. You know what? I think I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to varnish it and protect it, and then I might try and apply something else onto it and fix that muddy spot right there. All right, get rid of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is repaint the edges. Oops, not with that. So I'm going to take that dark pink and I'm going to go all the way around the edge again. And all the way around the top edge. and delineate it. Then I'm going to varnish it. And then tomorrow I'll decide what I'm doing. So you don't need to watch that again. So I'm going to turn you guys off. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so I lied again. I went all the way around the edge twice to give it kind of a nice distressed look with the darker dusty. And then I just did some a little bit of splotching with my leftover dark pink. Well, it's not really pink, it's dusty rose. And I decided I'm going to do some with the light. I'm going to do some with the black and some with the white. And then I'm going to let it sit overnight. God. And dry. What's that? Oh, that's too much. This is easier to do with thinner paint and a fan brush. I'm just saying. Oh, because you don't want that. Well, maybe you do. All right, so that's some pink. I'm going to see if I can just make those two little dots a little bit smaller. All right, we're going to use some white splotches. I need a really liquidy white. Basic. Just a little bit. A little bit of water. Water it down a little bit. And you can hear my dog coming, clicking on the floor. Come and lie in your bed, Taff. Mommy's videoing. I literally have paint everywhere right now doing this. There are better ways of doing this. By thinning the paint a little bit and using a fan brush. Of course, I was too lazy to do that. So instead, I will have the opportunity to spend that extra effort that I couldn't do to get up cleaning my monitor after this video is done. All right. Go in your bed, Cat. Everybody can hear you clicking. Get puppy. And last but not least, I'm going to do a little bit of black flicking. And then that's it. A little bit of black paint. Clean the white paint out of my brush. Wipe that off. All right, let's get a little bit of water here, even if it's dirty water. You have to be judicious with the black. You put too much splatter, it looks stupid. It can overpower it. All right. I wished I could show you my monitor right now. My monitor looks, and this black I can't lift. Actually, it's really funny. I'm looking at my monitor and there's so many more speckles on my monitor than there is on this piece. Walk away, Andrea. All right, we're gonna leave this overnight. In the morning, I'm gonna put 2 coats of protective. What am I gonna put on? Because these are kind of pastel colors, I think I'm gonna put gloss medium on it and jazz it up a bit. And I might put a little bit more gold on it. I might do that now. Give me a second while I rinse out my sea sponge and do a little bit more gold. I can't do the gold because I will smear all of the other paint, especially the black paint. Okay, we're definitely leaving it. I will see you tomorrow. Hi, so everything is dry now, and the only thing I did since turning off the camera is I put in some gold lines with some of the golden liquid acrylic iridescent gold fine and a credit card. So I just put a few little pieces in, and that's it. They're both done. This is going to dry, and then I'm going to put a coat of varnish on. So I'm going to varnish now, and I'm going to actually use a trick that Patty Tolley Parrish used recently. First of all, when I was using real acrylic paints, I didn't varnish because in college I was taught that it was not necessary. However, I did these with craft paint, and or mostly craft paint, so I need to protect them from scratches and stuff. And in the past I would use either the Liquitex gloss medium or I would use the Liquitex matte medium. And she did something, probably within the last month, where she mixed the gloss, so I'll use a little bit of that with some matte varnish. And I never liked this product because it ruined one of my paintings once because I used it and I didn't really know. You shouldn't really shake it because it puts bubbles into it, but I'm impatient, so we're gonna just deal with that because I have to stir it up anyways. Of course, there we go. So she was mixing it half and half. I'm not going to mix it half and half. I'm going to mix it 2 parts of one to 1 part of another. And I have a really nice Taklon brush, which is the nylon brushes. Just going to mix that up and fast forward through this varnishing. Now I'm just going to put 1 coat on, a nice thin coat, and do the edges, and then let it dry. Here we go. Here we go, 1 done. Second coat, opposite way. I'm going to urge you to be careful again. I don't know if you can see here, but I didn't clean up the edge and my finger caught it and I kind of bunged it up. But the second coat should smooth that out. So here we go. There we go, 2 coats. So again, I recommend that you let them air dry in between coats. When I use a heat gun on it, sometimes I can bubble the varnish, which is not great. These brushes need to be washed right away so that it doesn't get becomes a solid piece, because this will harden like a solid piece of plastic, unless that's what you want. Those pieces I didn't sign on the front because of the manner they could be hung a whole bunch of different ways. So I'm actually, when they're dry, I'm going to flip them over and sign them on the back with a paint marker. And then they will be issued with an artist biography and the provenance. So this is called Rachael's Repose. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe with the subscribe button. Like and share with your friends. And thank you for coming with me on this journey today.